Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Darrow here with another Options to Play video update. So this week has been volatile, to say the least. This past month has been really volatile. We've had a lot of big moves, and we haven't always had large gaps overnight, but we have started to see a little bit more of like the overnight gaps start to show up again. And I think one of the things I try to stress, like specifically for options, but also just in general, is that there's always the temptation to be really active off the open because stocks tend to move a bunch off the open, right? But sometimes, like especially like a day like today, where we had like a pretty sizable gap lower after an already sizable drop. I rather wait, right? So I wrote in like the morning note that I want to make sure like patterns are still valid. So what I like to do on days like this is sometimes just wait like 30 minutes. And if you trade options, what that does is it lets the liquidity fill out on the contracts because when a stock has a big gap and the volatility is high and things are spinning around, I mean, not only is the stock kind of crazy, but the underlying options on it are too, right? Bid-ask spreads can be kind of wide, liquidity be kind of low, so it can kind of be tough to trade options. So I like letting like the books fill out, but also what you'll notice is like a 30-minute time frame, a lot can change, right? And sometimes it can keep you out of trouble, right? So like if you were looking for a bounce on Tuesday, right? Everybody's talking about turnaround Tuesday, right? If you just waited 30 minutes, well, by 10 o'clock, that gap green open had already fizzled, right? And then all of a sudden, it just doesn't look like a tradable bounce anymore, right? So if you had just waited instead of buying right away and let like the action really start to dictate what you're doing instead of just trying to like chase like an opening pop. If you'd waited, it would have kept you out of trouble. Same thing with Tuesday or Wednesday, excuse me. We had another gap open. We had like an extension, but by basically like 30 minutes, we had rolled back down or started to roll back down. And then at least if you were still thinking like, okay, we're still green and we can hold, at least now you have some reference levels, right? You have the opening low as a stop, or you have like the early range high is maybe like a key focus level, but you still have reference levels versus just buying a gap open and hoping that things continue higher, right? At least if you wait, got good price levels to work with. Again, today, if you had waited 30 minutes instead of like buying the first dip, well, that after 30 minutes, things had already started to turn lower, right? So again, maybe kept you out of trouble trying to get like that early squeeze, and then after 30 minutes you got good levels to work with. So whether that's on the downside or the upside, you got key reference points that you can really like hone in on intraday for like tradable setups, right? So I mean the temptation's always there. Stuff really can move a lot during the first few minutes of the day, but sometimes, especially if you're really undecided what to do, like waiting can actually be more helpful, right? Because either it can keep you out of trouble, or you know, sometimes it gives you good levels to work with, where you can get a little bit, maybe a little bit more conviction with like your price points, right? So just food for thought, because it does seem like September is going to be a volatile month. We got a bunch of big economic things coming up, big economic events coming up, and I mean, if you trade options, you've heard me say this before, but even if you don't trade options, it still could be something to keep in mind when we do get these overnight gaps, is that if you don't have like a clear trade bias or clear conviction on what you're looking at, wait. Let the charts settle in, let the price levels develop, and then maybe you'll get like a better setup. Okay. Um, so tomorrow's the jobs report, and that kind of kicks off the stretch where we get the jobs report, then we get the CPI, then we have the FOMC rate decision later in September. So there's going to be a lot going on tomorrow though is kind of like the first of the events. So expect probably a pretty busy open. All right. So if you like this video and you're looking for more information about trading, swing trading with options or trading events with options, please follow up with the link in the description of the video more information on options to play. Have a great night. Stay well, and we'll talk to you all tomorrow.